guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you are new to my channel, welcome. This is my review for Marriage Bootcamp Hip Hop Edition Season 16 Episode 6. I did do reviews for episodes 1 through 5, so if you did not see those, please go check those out, and let's just dive right into this review because there's a lot that happened in this episode that I would like to discuss. So as you know, if you watched the last episode, that the other couples have to decide whether or not Bianca and Chose should stay in the Marriage Bootcamp house, because when they did the press conference challenge in the last episode, they found out that Chose and Bianca are not actually a couple. The two of them have dated on and off, but at this point in time, they were not actually a couple, and they had messaged the girl that Chose was in a picture with on his social media, and she said that she's actually dating Chose. So now all the couples have to decide whether or not the two of them should stay, and people are having conflicting thoughts because at first everyone thought everyone in the house was a couple and that everybody was being transparent and they were really all there to work on their relationships. Now they feel like Chose and Bianca are playing around with everyone and playing games, okay? Now Jocelyn and Ballistic were saying that maybe Chose is using Bianca to be on the show and to get more exposure because of the fact that Bianca is a lot more known than Chose. And then at the same time, they think that maybe the two of them could be in this together where they just came on the show to try to get the money, which, let's be real, all the couples on Marriage Bootcamp are there to get that paycheck, but at the same time, some of the challenges that they do on the show could definitely help you communicate better in your relationship, so I think everybody can benefit from it. Now, Ajua and Styles P were telling them that their situation isn't clear to everyone, and that, you know, maybe they should have explained to everybody what exactly they were doing in the Marriage Bootcamp house and what their relationship actually was, so that people would have a clear idea of what's going on between the two of them. Now, Bianca doesn't want people to think that her and Chose are not serious about each other, because she was talking about how they have an on and off relationship, obviously, and she kept talking about how she got his name tattooed on her twice. Now, I personally believe that Bianca and Chose should be allowed to stay in the Marriage Bootcamp house because they keep going back to each other, okay? They're not going to be fully broken up no time soon, to be honest with you. Whether he gives her the ring at the end of this show or if he doesn't, I still think that they're going to continue in the on and off relationship, and I honestly think that they could use some of the tools that are being done on the show to help them in their everyday life when they do decide to be together again, okay? And it can also help them individually, because if they don't decide to stay together, they can use the tools that they've learned on Marriage Bootcamp in different relationships, okay? So basically, Chose gets a message on his phone from a guy who says that he was actually talking to Bianca, and it seemed like the two of them were going to be dating, and he was pissed off about it, although I don't honestly feel like he has a right to be mad at Bianca for her talking to another guy and was potentially going to date this guy, because he's obviously talking to a bunch of other women, and you know, he's basically dating somebody else because the girl said it in the inbox when the person from the press conference asked her. So I don't think he has a right to really be mad about it, but I think the two of them are acting really childish. I know that they're young, but they're acting very childish, and they're playing a lot of games with each other, and sometimes I think that they're not really taking the lesson seriously either, although obviously, like I said before, everybody is there to get that paycheck. Now, Jocelyn tells Bianca that she feels played by her, okay? Which I feel like Jocelyn was overdoing it. I don't think Jocelyn really gives a goddamn whether or not Chose and Bianca are actually a couple or not. Jocelyn's just dramatic, and she's only there to, you know, make good TV. So I was not taking anything that Jocelyn said when it came to Bianca and Chose's relationship seriously. So basically, everyone is giving their opinion on Chose and Bianca's situation and why or why not they think they should or should not stay, okay? Michel'le says that she hopes that all the bullshit that they go through in this relationship is truly worth it for them, because why put yourself through all this drama and turmoil if you're not going to end up together at the end of the day, which I agree with her, but I feel like Michel'le really shouldn't be giving too much advice on other people's relationship, because hers is the one that seems like it's in the most trouble on the show so far. Now, Shoni ends up saying that if they're not together, they should go, but at the same time, she feels like maybe they should be in the house so that they can work things out and possibly get back together by the end of the show. Styles P and Ajua are more on the same level with them when it comes to what they think about the situation, because they were saying that they think that Bianca and Chose should stay, even though they're not actually in a relationship with each other, because they keep going back to each other, okay? Which means that they can use whatever tools they learn from the show and they can take it back into their relationship when they keep going back and forth on and off all over again, okay? So I agree with them. I think that they should stay. And if they don't work out, they don't work out, but at least they gave it a shot and tried, okay? Now, CeeLo feels the same way, and he says that he feels like they should stay and work it out. So basically, everyone agrees that the two of them should stay, which I absolutely agree. Now, Dr.Ish ends up asking Bianca why her and Chose are actually at marriage boot camp, and Bianca says that because they have an on and off relationship, and, you know, they break up because they have a toxic situation, and then they get back together and act like everything's okay, and don't ever actually work on the things that caused them to break up in the first place, which I think that that's absolutely a reason for them to be on the show. And so they end up staying, and I hope that the two of them are able to work something out. Dr.Ish ends up giving the couples gift bags, and in the gift bags it has one big shirt and one large pair of pants that the couple has to wear together, okay? They have to wear the outfit together and try to walk, which I was dying laughing when I saw CeeLo and Shawnee put their outfit on because they literally could not walk. And you could tell that, you know, CeeLo was not into this challenge at all. Now, outside, they had to put together these puzzles as a couple, okay? And it seemed like a lot of the couples were struggling with this. They were getting aggravated because they could barely move in those outfits. Now, basically, the challenge is about communication and using stress tests in order to see how they communicate and what's actually their problem when it comes to communication. Now, basically, Chose and Bianca were the first to finish their puzzle, and then they had to do a workout together, which was hard in itself. They seemed like they were getting aggravated with each other. Meanwhile, Michel'le and Stu had to cook, and they were also getting aggravated with each other because, you know, the two of them have the worst communication out of every other couple in the house. Now, Jocelyn and Chose had to put something together, and Jocelyn seemed like she was getting aggravated during this challenge, but Chose seemed to keep it together. Shawnee and CeeLo had to build something too, and he seemed like he was getting aggravated because he didn't know how to move properly inside that outfit. And Styles P and Ajwa had to sculpt something, which the two of them seemed like they were communicating very well. Now, CeeLo and Shawnee were kind of arguing a little bit back and forth because CeeLo gets aggravated very easily, you can tell. And, you know, Ballistic and Jocelyn did actually a good job because Jocelyn allowed Ballistic to actually take the lead in this situation, which she needs to learn to do more often because I feel like, you know, he gets less aggravated as quickly as Jocelyn does. So I do believe that sometimes she does need to learn how to pass the torch and allow him to take the lead sometimes. Possibly hurt her if he's moving a certain type of way. And so, I mean, I do believe that he could have handled it a little bit better without getting fully annoyed. He could have just told her, calm down with your movements because I'm getting kind of hurt by the way that you're moving, okay? It's hurting my body because you're moving too much, okay? But, you know, Jocelyn started to get annoyed because of the fact that Ballistic was mad, and so Shawnee stepped in and told her to just allow him to be mad. Let him be mad and he'll simmer down at some point. Don't bother him, just leave him alone, which I agree with Shawnee. I know a lot of times we do have to learn that. Just leave people alone. If they're mad, leave them alone. There's nothing you can do about it, really, to be honest with you. But then Jocelyn took some shots at him that really pissed him off because she told Shawnee that her and Ballistic would be a really boring couple together, and then she went on to say that Shawnee wouldn't want to date Ballistic anyway because he's a prick, and he got bothered by that, which he had every right to do. I don't know why Jocelyn resorts to calling this man names and why she tries to emasculate him every chance she gets, which is crazy to me that Chose and Bianca also said that she tries to emasculate Ballistic a lot, which she absolutely does. She needs to learn how to work on that because no man is going to want to be with her if she continuously is emasculating them like that. So the challenge ended up continuing, but they were able to take off those garments, so they were no longer connected to each other anymore. And they had to do this obstacle course where one person in the relationship had to do the course and the other person had to yell out orders on what to do because the person who's going to be doing the obstacle course has to wear drunk goggles, okay? So they really can't see anything, so they're basically going off the direction from their partner, which is trying to help them communicate. The ones who are doing the obstacle course are the one in the relationship who doesn't really listen well, okay? And then the one who is doing the telling them what they have to do for the obstacle course is the one who has trouble communicating, okay? So they end up doing this obstacle course, and basically it was funny to watch, okay? They seemed like they were having fun, but at the same time, you know, Bianca and Chose finished first, okay? They finished first before anyone else did. But their communication was not good, and it seemed like they just rushed through it, okay? And then the couple who finished last was Michel'le and Stu, which is not surprising because they have the worst communication out of everybody else on the show. Now, Bianca and Chose thought they won because they finished first, but Dr.Ish corrected that quickly and let the couples know that it wasn't who finished first that was the winner. It was who communicated the best that was the winner. winner. So the people who won was actually Jocelyn and Ballistic, which I was very surprised about. But I can say that the two of them, when it came time to actually do these challenges, they were able to communicate effectively. But they did have a little bit of spats earlier in the day. But I love that they were able to put that shit aside and get the challenges done together in an effective way. So the two of them ended up winning. And, Bianca and Chose were surprised because they thought that they were the ones who were going to win. And, Michel'le and Stu ended up losing. So Bianca and Chose thought that they were the ones who were going to have to, serve Jocelyn and Ballistic, because Jocelyn and Ballistic ended up winning a little dinner together where they get to have a little romantic time with one another. But they were not the ones who had to serve Ballistic and Jocelyn. It was actually Michel'le and Stu who had to serve Jocelyn and Ballistic. And I was so interested to see how that was going to turn out. I thought that Stu was going to make this extravagant meal for the two of them, since he's always talking about how he's a chef. So Stu was getting on my nerves in this scene, okay? He had to serve Ballistic and Jocelyn some food, and they had like this salmon and they had broccoli and all this shit like that. And I'm thinking, because he's a friggin' chef and he constantly talks about it, I would think that he was gonna make them a really nice meal. But instead, he basically ruined their little date night, which I didn't feel was right. I know it was funny a little bit. It was kind of funny when he sent Michel'le out there with the raw salmon. It was kind of funny, but at the same time, it was obnoxious, okay? Because they actually earned their little date night together, and I just didn't think it was right for him to basically ruin their date night that they had. Now, the other couples were fine with it, because after they saw the way that Stu was trying to make these two their meal, they were happy to have the peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, the cheese doodles, and the friggin' cookies and stuff. They were fine with having the soda and all that. They didn't need that gourmet meal, because Stu clearly did not take the time to show off his cooking skills while he was on national television, which I believe he should have done. Jocelyn was getting annoyed because at this point, he was trolling them at this point in time, okay? He even served them salad inside of a champagne glass. I was like, okay, this dude is crazy. And basically, you could tell that Michel'le was getting annoyed about the situation too, because basically she's taking all the heat from Jocelyn and Ballistic, so she ends up sending Stu out there, and basically the whole dinner turned to shit. Because Jocelyn and Ballistic's dinner was ruined by Stu being very petty, they ended up getting called outside to have a group meeting with Dr.Ish for him to introduce the 5 C's to them: collaboration, communication, connection, compassion, and curiosity. And each couple got one word out of the 5 C's that they need to work on in their relationship the most. And, CeeLo and Shawnee got collaboration. They need to work on collaborating with one another, and they showed that they're able to do so during this challenge today. So I think that they can definitely get that together. Jocelyn and Ballistic got communication, which they do have trouble communicating with one another, but when it comes time to actually work together and communicate in order to get shit done, they showed that they're able to do that. Bianca and Chose got connection, and I do feel like they have a connection to each other, but at the same time, they disconnect very easily, and obviously they continue to break up and get back together over and over again. So they definitely need to work on that. Ajwa and Styles got compassion. I can see that, and I feel like they can definitely work on that as well. But I think they're doing pretty good out of all the other couples on the show. I believe that they're the one who are actually taking the boot camp seriously. Now, Michel'le and Stu got curiosity, and basically Stu was making excuses for why he can't act so curious in his relationship with Michel'le, which him and Michel'le haven't even been together for that long. And I honestly feel like Stu just wants to throw in the towel, and I don't even think he wants to be with Michel'le anymore. All the couples end up separating, going into their own corners to have their late night conversations with each other. And basically, Chose told Bianca that he had an emotionally draining day. And she was like, well, why did you have an emotionally draining day? And he said because of the messages that he woke up to, the guy saying that him and Bianca were talking and were thinking about getting together. And she doesn't understand why he's bothered by that, because he did his dirt too. But basically, Chose was saying that he has every right to question her on what she does, which, I mean, he can question her because she questions him. But I do think that he doesn't really have a right to get mad at her for what she does if he's doing the same exact thing that she's doing. The two of them need to work on shit, okay? Because the fact that both of them are talking to other people and then get mad at each other about it, it makes no sense if you guys are both continuing to do so. So I don't know what's going on between the two of them. Hopefully they can get right by the end of the show. Stu ends up having a conversation with Michel'le and said that, basically he feels like he can't express himself in the house and that no one understands him, and that everything so far has been what Michel'le wants and never what he wants, okay? And I can see that a little bit, but Michel'le was trying to explain to him that, you know, he should stop going around to everybody in the house just saying shit all the time, because I mean, that's the reason why people are looking at him the way that they look at him. And I can understand what she was trying to say by that, but at the same time, she does need to look at what she can do to try to meet his needs too, because so far it has really been about, you know, what she wants all the time. So I do think that they need to work on that. But Stu is being a little bit more dramatic than what he needs to be, and the episode ended up cutting there. I thought that this was a pretty good episode. I think that Michel'le and Stu are going to need some one-on-one counseling with Dr.Ish, because it seems like their relationship is literally falling apart every episode. As we get closer and closer to the end of this season, it literally looks like they're about to break up every freaking second. So let me know what you guys thought about this episode down in the comment section. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button for me. I appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more videos. And thank you to all my subscribers for the support. I appreciate you all so very much. And until next time, I will see you guys in my next video.